Today we are celebrating 30 years of the Mazda MX-5 Miata with this 2019 30th Anniversary Edition. This MX-5 Miata also features raised 17-inch forged alloy wheels. We've got the heated Recaro racing seats. We've got Brembo front brakes with orange painted front and rear calipers, and the rear we have Nissan brakes. We've got a 6-speed manual transmission which allows you 26 miles per gallon around town and 34 miles per gallon on the highway. Something that's really awesome about this manual transmission is that it comes with a factory short throw shifter, a limited slip differential. This car comes with Bilstein suspension, which I gotta say handles really well. Being an ND2 Miata, the interior is much better, much more refined than the ND1, as well as the motor, boasting an extra 26 more horsepower with a jump from 155 horsepower to 181 horsepower at a 7,500 RPM redline. It's worth mentioning that this also has a boost in torque sitting at 151 pound-feet of torque, which is the perfect amount of power for daily driving. Something that is absolutely mind-blowing to me is that the NA Miata weighed about 2,160 pounds without options. This car, with all these incredible options, comes in at 2,337 pounds. We could talk about Miatas all day long, but the thing about Miatas is you gotta drive them. Let's take a look at what this baby can do. Alright, so we're here with Ian. Welcome to MaxSpeed, man. This is your brand new 30th Anniversary Edition Miata. Just tell me about it. What made you spend this kind of money on a Miata, and what kind of cars did you kind of come from?
So Miatas to me have always been something I've always had my eye on. I wanted to get one for my first car, but my parents were really like, nah, you can't have a two-seater. So then after I graduated high school, they got a little more lenient, and I ended up buying a 96 M Edition.
Okay.
So it's a pop-up model, or the one with the pop-up headlights. And I bought that. It was my first Miata, because I always just liked the way they looked. I've heard great things about the way they drive, and they're always like, you know, super cheap to buy and modify and maintain. So I bought that car and drove it around for about 3.5 years, took it up to the tail of the Dragon, met some other friends with Miatas, made some friends and got them to buy Miatas because they liked the way it drove so much. And I really enjoyed that car, had big plans for it. And eventually I upgraded to a MaxSpeed Miata, so that was the one with the factory turbo. And I had big plans again for that car, but then I started working for Mazda in a dealership near my house, and this 30th anniversary came up for sale. And if you know anything about the 30th anniversaries, those are very special edition, only 3,000 of them in the whole world. Just over 600 came to the US. And so working at the dealership, I was able to get some good financing on the car, and I decided to just pull the trigger on it because I was like, man, when else am I going to have the opportunity to get something so amazing, especially brand new? It had 4 miles on the odometer at the time.
And how many do you have now?
Now I have just over 1,700, and it's been about 3 weeks.
You've been driving it.
I've been driving it a lot, and I absolutely love it. Some people, they buy these special edition cars and they just keep them in the garage or don't really drive them. They baby them on the weekends.
Right.
But I don't want to be that owner. Of course I want to...
That scared the shit out of me. I thought we hit something at first. I was like, yo, what the heck?
Terrified.
Oh my God.
No, but yeah, I don't want to be one of those owners that just babies the car and garages it. Like, I actually obviously want to take care of the car. This is the nicest thing I've ever owned.
Right.
But I also want to drive the car the way it's meant to be driven, and it's so rewarding to drive. If you've ever driven any Miata or S2K, anything, any roadster like this, you'll know what I'm talking about.
True.
So that's the whole point. I'd love to be able to take it to the Dragon in as many events as I can. One of my goals, since it's not going to be the cleanest 30th Anniversary Edition out there, maybe I can make it the highest mileage 30th Anniversary Edition out there. So
that'd be awesome.
We'll see.
That'd be awesome.
It's just such a great combo daily driver weekend car because it still feels like the older Miatas. It feels you're very connected to the transmission, to the engine, but it's got all the modern technology and safety features. It's got, you know, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, automatic air conditioning, just
heated Recaro
seats. You know? Yeah. So it's just an incredible car all around, and I absolutely love driving it, and I can't wait for the new experiences and the new friends that I'll make with this car. And that's really what it's all about to me. That's why I love the Miatas. And I have Siri commands too, I could say, with this voice button.
So these are the kind of roads I wanted you to drive on, by the way.
Call Mike.
Just to confirm, you'd like to call MaxSpeedMike mobile?
No.
That's sick.
Who would you like to call?
Never mind.
I don't see an app for that. You'll need to download
It's serious, so like it does that, but like it's so nice you can literally just do that, you know, completely hands-free.
So what are your plans for this thing? Are you gonna build it, or you keep it stock, or?
I definitely have some plans for some tasteful modifications. I don't want to do anything too crazy.
Okay.
I'd like to lower it, either coilovers or lowering springs. It does have the Bilsteins, so I think for budget purposes and just to kind of see how the Bilsteins work, I'll probably do lowering springs, try to get rid of some of that wheel gap. It does have a lot of body roll, so that'll help, and then maybe do some sway bars as well. And I'd like to do some exhaust, because I'm sure as you can hear, it's not loud. It sounds okay, but
it does sound good. I like it.
Could be a lot better.
It's funny, this does feel quick.
But yeah, just tasteful mods like that. But I think for now, obviously, I got payments on the car. I'm gonna have to keep it stock for a little bit. And also, I'd love to be able to take it up to the drag, and there's some nice roads to see how it is bone stock before I modify it.
Right.
So then I can really tell the difference between the two.
This is what it's built for, these kind of roads, you know? The smiles, man. It's all about the smiles.
Lots of smiles per gallon in this car.
Brembos. Woo, look at that. Holy shit.
Actually hooked a little bit too well. I didn't expect it to turn white like that.
Wow, dude, this car feels great. Dude, these Recaros really holding me in place right now. Like, look at this. I'm barely moving. I fucking love this car.
So I'd love to do another day where we have more time.
Right.
Really
it's alright, man.
The roads.
I love how this car handles, man. Like, look at this. It feels so glued. We're taking turns at like 70 miles an hour, like no problem.
Dude, you see those little signs where it's like, caution turn 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb with Miatas, they can always do at least double, I've found. Oh yeah, they're just so tossable, because I think this car weighs about the same as the NAs and the NBs.
It's 2,300 pounds.
Yeah.
It's super light.
And you still have all the modern safety and technology, in the car. So it's really incredible what they've done with it. And, it could use more power, but it doesn't need it, is the great thing. And it gets really good gas mileage too, so it's a really great daily driver. I think I averaged my last tank like 30 or 31 mpg.
That's insane, man.
You can't complain about that.
That's like Civic territory, but this is a lot more fun than a stock Civic, for sure.
The nice thing is though, even though this one being the 30th has the combination, it's got like the GT model with the GTS package, so it's got the limited slip diff, the Bilsteins, front shock tower brace, and then it combines the club models, Brembo brakes, and Recaro seats. So you got a little bit of both, but if you were able to or you wanted to, you could take all of those from a normal Miata and you could, mix them all together. It's not like there's anything really that special.
Right.
They just put it together from factory, so you could do the same thing if you wanted to, or go even crazier with it. And I originally was never planning on getting an ND, and when I first drove them, because they do feel a lot like the NAs and the NBs, since I had an NA and an NB at the time, I was like, yeah, I'd rather just spend the money in modifying these. But then once this 30th came up in the racing orange and the special wheels and just all the little touches here and there, I thought, man, I'm gonna have to have one. And
it's the best, man.
Once I saw it was possible, I pulled the trigger, and I don't regret it at all. I don't have to worry about oil burning or anything like that. I get all the daily drivability of a new car with all the fun of the older Miata. So it's just the perfect combination, and then I'm in love with it. It's so great.
I think you bought the right car then. It's all about what, like, the experience you can create with the car and the experience the car gives you. That's what I like about Miatas. Like, it's been carrying the tradition since they first made it. It still feels like a Miata when you drive it. Still has a Miata look. They still kept the 2-door Roadster manual, which, it's funny, I don't know if you noticed in this car, if you buy an automatic, you don't get the Bilstein shocks. You don't get the LSD in the back.
Yep.
It's almost like Mazda punishes you for buying the less fun option.
They do, and the automatic costs a little bit more too, I think.
Yeah, it's
higher priced.
Exactly. That's
just so many nice things about the car to make it that great everyday driver. You really don't have to compromise much other in terms of like space in the car. You don't have a spare tire. They give you a fix-a-flat kit, but I've never had to change out a spare before in my life, so.
Dude, I got my camera bag in the trunk, and you have like a little bag full of your detailing supplies.
Yeah.
Like, you can fit a lot of stuff back there for like a small Roadster. It's pretty good trunk space.
You got a little lockable box between the seats right here, and then between each, or behind each seat, there's an additional little storage bin.
Is there really?
Yeah, you can't really reach it because yours is against the
you put
firewall.
the seat down first, right?
Yeah, if you fold the seat forward, you see it.
That's pretty cool. So it's like kind of like a hidden compartment almost.
Yeah, as long as you're creative with your packing, which you kind of have to be, but as long as you're creative with your packing, you can fit a good amount of stuff in these cars. And I've noticed, I don't know how tall you are, Mike, but I'm 6'2",
I'm
almost.
5'10", so I'm
okay.
not.
So you're not a short guy by any means,
No.
but we haven't driven with the top up yet. But with the top up, my head doesn't touch the soft top at all.
That's
it does
awesome.
in the RF. The RF has a little bit less headroom because of the hard top.
The hard top, yeah.
But this one doesn't, and it's a little bit wider. Like Mike mentioned, it has a little bit more room than the NA. It's a little bit wider, so you don't feel super cramped inside. You feel well connected with the car, but not like you're in a little Suzuki Cappuccino or something like that.
So you're 6'2", like, how's visibility for you?
Oh, it's perfect. It's much better actually than my NA because this seat sits a little bit lower in the car than my NA does. The NA, you almost feel like you're sitting on top of the car. But here I'm kind of right about the middle of the windshield. My eyes are. I can see the gauges just fine. The NDs compared to the NAs, they have a telescoping and tilting steering wheel. That is sick. Which the first and second gen Miatas did not have. They were sort of unadjustable at all. So that really helps out with knee room and everything. The mirrors are good. There's no real blind spots with the soft top. So overall, I can't complain about the visibility. It's very good. There's nothing else like it. You really have to drive it. Let's turn it over here.
Hey, your driving's pretty good, dude.
You want to drive?
Yeah, sure. All right, I'm excited, man. I'm very excited for this. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Heck yeah, dude. If you need to move the thigh bolster down, you can rotate that as well. It's got a little knob on the side there.
Wow, this car is like, it's really easy to, I gotta move the seat back. I kind of rushed that.
That's okay. You can move the steering wheel too if you need to. Do whatever you need to make yourself comfortable.
Dude, this is, oh my God. Wow.
It's got, linear power throughout the whole power band too. I noticed, the NAs and NBs. Yeah, you feel the body roll through the driver's seat.
I feel it a lot, yeah. It just handles so nice, man. It grips the road really well.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's just so fun to go through the gears, man. Look at this.
Full speed.
Are you kidding me, man? Look at this.
MaxSpeedMike.
Oh man. This feels so dialed, dude. I feel zero need to brake in a corner at like 70 miles an hour. That is insane. You're right, that's how you describe this car. It's just tossable.
Yeah.
You just toss it around and it feels great. And then when you want to cruise, it's just smooth, man.
Yeah.
Everything's smooth. The clutch feels really good. I can't get over the shifter. Like, I just want to do this the whole time and just go through the gears. It's so much fun. I've noticed that when you're downshifting, the little like gear indicator, it takes like a quick second, but I don't think anybody uses that anyway.
No.
This is foreign technology to people like me that drive older 90s cars, so I wouldn't need to use that. So it does tell you to go to like, it does tell you like what gear to go to. That's cool.
It does that for like fuel economy purposes and.
Yeah, 6 is a little too sluggish here. I don't know why it was telling me to go to 6.
Because it doesn't think you're or it doesn't want you to drive.
This
fast,
is a Miata, man. You gotta drive like this.
That's why I just don't pay attention to it.
It's like, this is insane. And then these Brembos stop real well. I'm like 20% into the brake right now. That's crazy. Oh, dude, I love this car.
The more I drive it, the more I appreciate it too. This is one of those cars where, like, when I initially drove it, it didn't wow me, but now that I've gotten on the open road and taken it out quite a few more times, put some more miles on it, and I've truly gotten to see it in different scenarios, the way it behaves, it's just impressed me more and more and more the more I drive it. And I cannot wait to take it, you know, to drive Florida rallies, to tail the Dragon, to really experience what this car is all about.
Dude, the throttle response is like really quick. I noticed when I'm blipping for downshifts, you gotta be really quick with that.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. I like that. It feels like old school, like, it feels so dialed. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. I like this car so much.
You know, it's got the modern electronic throttle body and the electronic steering, but they don't feel super sluggish.
It doesn't.
It still feels pretty quick to respond, and it doesn't, you know, feel like you're driving an SUV or anything. I've driven some electric power steering cars that you don't get any feeling from them, but this one's pretty darn good.
This car is one of those cars you just want to drive like 10/10ths all the time. Like, I'm stuck behind this freaking guy. We're doing like 35 on this really nice twisty road. Like, the car just is begging to be driven hard. I love that, man.
It makes me mad when I can't drive it faster than I want to, and there's people in front of me.
I do like these Bilstein shocks. They're good for like just street driving like this.
Yeah.
That bump we just took, that little dip, it felt fine. I'm not like bouncing around or anything. Visibility is pretty good in here, and I also want to notice, like, I like the little speed limit suggestion there.
Yeah.
Like, shows the speed limit, and I like the little customizable gauge that you can pick on the side. That's cool for like daily driving, but I like the seating position. I like the fact that, like you said, you sit lower in this car than like as opposed to like the NA. The NA, you feel like you're kind of like sitting above the car.
Yeah.
I feel that. I do feel like these feel like bucket seats. I'd probably leave these seats in here forever.
Yeah, I don't have any plan to change them, especially because of all the orange piping and stitching and how it matches the rest of the interior. I really, really like that.
I do think it's funny, like, you can see the side arches on the hood. That's pretty cool. It's definitely a different view. I'm used to looking at like old school like NA where you just look straight down, like the hood just kind of goes down. I like the Brembos. They feel great. You said these come with Bridgestones, right? Do you know what size?
Yeah, so it's a 205 width, so they're still really skinny tires, but you know, the car weighs 2,300 pounds, so you don't need anything super fat. Exactly. They're gonna be cheap to replace. And that's one of the beauties of this car is, you know, you can get high horsepower, you know, big tire, big brakes vehicle, and it's just gonna be costly to keep up with the tires and the brakes and all that. But this one's gonna be cheap to replace, and it still grips very well. And like I was telling Mike earlier, the stock tires are Bridgestone Potenza. They're 280 tread wear, so they're not, you know, an autocross or track tire by any means, but they're definitely grippier than all the other tires that they put on the stock Mazdas. So Mazda knew that the drivers of this car were going to want something a little more fun and something that you could push around a little bit more. And I think it's
Sorry, I had to take that turn.
No, go for it, dude. Have fun.
Dude, like, one hand, I know it's stupid, but one hand on the wheel, like lightly modulating throttle, it wants to keep going in the corners, man. This is what it's built for. I love this thing so much. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. And I said the same thing about Evan's Miata. It's a lot more, everything feels tight, everything feels solid. I like it a lot. And like the little extra torque that this has over like the old school Miatas, like, you know, 151 torque, that's like really good number right there. It's good for daily driving like this. Like, you can leave it in third and cruise in third, go to fourth if you need to save some gas. I find like in older cars, like older Miatas and stuff, you're constantly shifting. It doesn't seem to be the case with this one, but even like little things like that, if there's like a dip in the road and you want to just kind of dart left or right, the steering feels pretty good. And I know it's not old school like hydraulic steering, but the electric steering is not terrible. I like it. I will say I could feel every bit of the road with these tires right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually don't have good enough service.
I love this thing. I can't, dude, you made such a good choice buying this car. I don't think there's too many cars that are going to be not as fast, but not as much fun. Like, that's the fun factor on this car is just all the way up there. And if you want to put this up, it takes, I've seen it in a video, it takes like 2 seconds.
Oh yeah.
You just clip the middle, right?
Yeah, we could show you actually. I mean, I could do it now while you're driving too.
Here, I'll slow down if you want.
Slow down a little bit. I think I've done it up to like 35 miles an hour one time. Yeah, super simple. You just pop this little do-flatchy there. And then one latch, and that's it. It's like, and the same thing, put it down, you just do that, and locks into place. It could not be quicker.
Easier than the old school Miata.
Yeah, and it's lighter too. Everything they've improved with this car, and especially one thing I will point out, you know, obviously I work for Mazda, so I gotta be a little cheeky here, but if you're looking at like a BRZ versus this, sure the BRZ's got a little bit more power, but do you really want the Boxer engine long term? I mean, it's nice, but you have a little more reliability with this one compared to the Boxer.
Dude, this is so dialed. Flying at 100 miles an hour in a corner.
Are we really?
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like you're going that fast.
First, I know. Look here. We'll hit 100 here, right? It just feels so dialed. And then when you want to brake hard, we got the Brembos.
Oh my god. That was a 40 mile an hour corner. We just took it 80.
Doesn't it feel different in the passenger seat?
Yeah. It feels scarier in the passenger seat because I'm not in control. But Mike's a good driver, so he's doing well. It's fun because I don't usually get to ride in my cars like that, so that's actually kind of fun for me. Man. I'm not used to this. You got two different types of buyers that buy the Miata. You have people like me that just want to thrash it around and have fun all day, and then you have other people who want to, you know, just use it as a cruiser. And Mazda's just done a really good job of, I think, catering to both audiences, especially with the different trim levels and options that they have for the car. So yeah, I could not be more happy with it. And the more I drive it, the more I enjoy it.
So much fun to drive. I just love going through the gears. Like, this is one of those cars where when I see a red light, I'm excited because I know I'm stopping, right? Then I gotta go through all 6 gears once again. So it's a pleasure.
I just can't picture myself driving a normal car, you know, normal like a Corolla or something like that. You know, no offense to those cars, they're great cars, but I just love the way the Miatas feel, and any sort of roadster or car like this we'll do a similar thing. For me, it's the Miata. Some people say S2000s. I love those too.
That's not the S2000 guy. That's me.
Yeah,
that's definitely me.
Oh yeah, but I just can't picture myself driving anything else. I mean, once you drive one of these, if you like cars and you like driving, it's hard to go back to anything else. I'm also thankful that you did the review too, because one, you're a guy I know, so I'm like, enjoy that you did that, and so, you know, help the channel grow and everything. And two, I like it for the publicity's sake for me, and like, even though, you know, nothing for me is going to really come from it, but just being able to see my car on the video, like, out there, I think is going to be really cool.
You can shout out your Instagram or anything you want.
I'll post that in the description. Okay. I don't want to do like a shout out on the video. I don't want to. I don't really want it to be like about me, especially because I don't really do much with like the channel right now. Anyway, the Instagram's gonna be right here. Do it, yeah. Put it down at the bottom. I'll put it in the description too for you. The YouTube as well. I do have a channel, Drive MX5. I don't do a whole lot with right now, just busy with work and school. But I got a couple videos up, so check that out. I might do some modification videos and different things once I start doing more to this car. Maybe you guys should check out the freaking dealership. Maybe we should. I work at Classic Mazda. I don't want to be a sellout or anything, but no, that's fine, man. If any of you are in the market for a Mazda, come ask for me. Come check us out. We got a couple Miatas. Come see a real Mazda enthusiast. Exactly. A real Miata enthusiast. Exactly. That's why I started working there, because I love the Miatas. I was like, well, shoot, Mazda makes them, so that's sick. Work there. Follow me on Instagram, and of course, you know, subscribe to Mike if you aren't already. Watch all his reviews, and I'm just glad to be here. So that's really, really awesome. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it, dude. I love this car. I can't get over it. Say.